Hello, my name is Elmira and I'm going to explain what changing perspective as a learning mechanism means. So in my doctoral study, I'm motivated to know how can we increase the efficiency of collaborative interactions between a child and a robot in educational setting by developing a cognitive model for the robot. So now if we separate all the parts that are interesting for us and reframe that into a framework, we are going to have the child and a robot having collaborative interactions with each other. The robot is going to be equipped with a cognitive model that we develop for it, and everything is happening in educational setting. But before we proceed, we're going to explain that we are only going to focus on one aspect of the cognitive model, and that's going to be perspective taking. So now, what is perspective taking? Perspective taking is considered to be the ability to take another person's point of view, which can be in perceptual dimension, as in what they see, cognitive dimension, as in what they know, and emotional dimension, as in what they feel. And all of these dimensions can have their own subdimensions and level. So now I'm going to update my framework with this new model, and next I'm going to explain what I have done during my previous work I've done during my PhD. The first study I've done was called co-reader. It was a joint attention study. We had the child and a robot collaborate with each other, reading a book. The robot was making mistake and the child was supposed to correct the robot. And we were interested to see how certain didactic gestures from the robot was affecting the child's performance. The second study we did was called objective. It was a perspective taking study for getting a baseline on children perspective taking. The child and the robot were taking turns instructing each other to move objects on the game, and we get a very interesting result about how children take the robot's perspective in this type of task. The next study we had was called Cosmo Maze. It was a perspective adjustment for different angle. We had the child guiding a robot in a maze, and we were interested to see how children take the robot's perspective when the robot has different angles. So now, using all of this finding, I'm going to develop an adaptive model, and then I'm going to have a new collaborative study to see how the adaptive model work. Based on all this finding and the previous studies on perspective taking, I came up with certain parameters and assumptions. I'm going to have a collaborative task, which is educational, use manipulative, and of course, we always have a robot interaction, a child-robot interaction part, like the verbal feedback and non-verbal feedbacks of the study. Before we continue, I just need to explain that our perspective-taking model is going to have two modes of support and challenge. In the support part, the robot supports children perspective-taking to complete the task. However, in the challenge mode, the robot is going to challenge the child to take different perspective-taking. And using all of this, I'm hoping we can reach our final goal, which is developing a cognitive model of perspective-taking for social robot in educational child-robot interactions. And we are looking forward to see what the result is going to be. Thank you for listening and have a good day.